don't think we're...
Who are you? What are you?
So if you're like me and didn't really pay any attention to anything to do with Teen Titans Go, you probably didn't know that this scene existed either, because it is in the film Teen Titans Go versus Teen Titans, which I finally watched this week, and I knew I was going to get around to watching this film eventually because I knew of its existence. I knew it brought the original 2003 Teen Titans back, and I grew up with that show. I love that show. I have nostalgia for the show, so of course, eventually I was going to check this movie out. I was kind of reluctant to because Teen Titans Go never really seemed like my thing. It was obvious that I was not the target audience, so if I don't like it, I don't blame them because it's not directed towards me. This movie, however, I think they balanced everything really well. And especially the DC animated movie universe, that version of the Titans showing up had me smiling ear to ear. I did not expect it. I knew nothing of this. I never got recommended anything about it on YouTube, never saw anything about it on Twitter. It was still a surprise to me 3 years later, which was a surprise in of itself. I love that they didn't change the animation style one single bit. It was unmistakably that version of the Titans. Cyborg was with them. This was really the first time you saw Cyborg there with them, with the team as a Titan. We got teases of that in Justice League vs. Teen Titans, but unfortunately never saw Cyborg as a full-fledged member of the team. This is the only scene you really see that did become a reality. Nightwing is the only member that actually has dialogue in the film, which is fine with me. I'm glad at least one of them did, and of course, if you're going to give one of them dialogue, it should be Nightwing. He is the leader of the team. He is the most popular character on that team.
Huh. Was that Santa Claus?
It was just really cool for me because, of course, this movie did come out in 2019 before the DC animated movie universe had its conclusion in Justice League Dark Apocalypse War. Its supposed conclusion, at least. I could see these versions of these characters coming back sometime if they did Crisis on Infinite Earths or something like that. Something to do with time travel, something to do with the multiverse, much like they did in this film. Teen Titans Go versus Teen Titans, of course, had to do with the multiverse. So they were jumping through multiverses, and I'm glad they ended up in this one. This was, in fact, the first one they landed in, and it makes sense because it was the most popular version of DC going on at the time, and it is still very popular today, 2 years later. I should say the most popular version of DC animation that wasn't Teen Titans Go at the time. Of course, we had the DCEU, regardless of the mess that became. That was still popular at the time. But these versions of the Titans also do show up later in the film during the final battle against Trigon, which was awesome that they brought them back. They don't really talk in that moment. This is the only scene that Nightwing really speaks. It was just awesome seeing this again. If you didn't know about this, I honestly recommend you go check out Teen Titans Go versus Teen Titans. It is not a bad movie. If Teen Titans Go doesn't really look like your thing, I think the 2003 Teen Titans helped balance that out for you. And none of the Teen Titans Go stuff is really over the top in the film. It's actually a pretty solid movie in my opinion. I'm glad I finally got around to watching it, especially since this happened and I knew nothing about it. It was still a shock to me 3 years later, like I said. So if you have seen this film, what did you think about this moment when the DC animated movie universe, that version of the Titans, showed up? If you haven't seen it, if you knew nothing about it, are you as surprised as I am? Because I wasn't expecting it at all, but it was a very welcome and pleasant surprise. Let me know down in the comments. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time.
They have an even more handsome Robin.
Let's get out of here. We have to save Raven.